More businesses are simply telling their workers, as my guest pointed out, to stay where you are, stop traveling, stay home as the virus continues to spread. We've got travel and lifestyle journalist Francesca Page on how this is walloping the travel industry. This is a time which should be booming for the Lunar New Year, particularly over there.
Yeah.
And it's not, isn't it?
No, not at all right now. I mean, we've got airlines and airports taking up all sorts of precautions. You've got American and United, which are saying right now they're suspending all flights in and out of China. And you've got Delta, which is waiving cancellation fees. But we'll see what today, brings in terms of it's a very fluid situation. As you know, it's changing every day within the travel industry as well. So. And
even within China, I mean, you think travel is very heavy within the United States.
Yeah.
People going to the East Coast, the West Coast, the mid, it's that and on steroids over there. I mean, and particularly this time of year. So the Chinese aren't traveling within their own country.
Right, absolutely. Businesses are empty. It doesn't seem to have that boom that you would think with the Chinese New Year you'd have. So it's definitely taking a toll in terms of within China. And then, of course, you've got American businesses over there, businesses like Google, which are saying, come home, employees, and put yourself in self-quarantine for 14 days. And people are opting to do that for the better public, for sure.
So now there are a lot of these companies as well that saying, we think the better part about it is not to go there at all.
Yeah.
And if more companies, follow that direction, Francesca, it could feed on itself.
It absolutely could feed on itself, and it may. We'll see what time brings. But I would say a lot of people and employees are actually opting, to self-quarantine. They don't want this to spread. So they'll say, we will stay home. I don't think anyone's fighting that. Everyone's sort of looking at the bigger picture in general.
Everyone waits for a vaccine or something like that. I mean, that was the case with SARS. It took almost a year to find that. Barring that, I mean, if this were to escalate and people say, I'm just staying where I am, that could really wallop the travel industry, right?
It will have a pretty big impact. I think people are definitely already starting to take precautions, looking from February, March into the spring. Right now, we're only looking at the sort of February, March period. But as this continues and this goes into summer, one of the biggest travel seasons there is, we're definitely going to see the travel industry take a hit.
Can the industry make up for the fact that the travel to and from Asia won't be as big? Do other locales benefit, or are there enough people to make up the slack for those?
There are, but one thing I would point out, a lot of the time with these airlines, even though they're pulling back flights because they're obviously trying to make a bigger change here, the other reason they're doing it is because there isn't the demand. People don't want to travel through those routes, so they kind of have to cancel them inevitably as well. So it's worth looking at it from both sides of the picture too.
Yeah, you even have this case of the Carnival Cruise Line where there's one person suspected of having the virus, so they keep all, I think it was 6,000 or 7,000 on the boat. And no one gets off the boat. Yeah,
more stories like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they started to come about in the next few days.
Yeah, I think you're right. Francesca, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good seeing you. Thank you for that clarification. Again, to her point, way too early to say how long this goes on here. But again, people are sort of retrenching and just sticking close to home while they sort this out. In the meantime,